So you have been trying to build muscle for weeks, months, maybe even years, but despite all of the effort that you're putting in with your training, your nutrition, you're showing up to the gym consistently, you really are putting in all the effort, it seems like you're getting nowhere. You're looking in the mirror, you can't see any progress, you don't feel like you're getting any bigger, and you're just banging your head against the wall. Maybe right now you're feeling a little bit demotivated and just want to give up entirely. You know, everyone around you seems like they're making such good progress, but you are sat there just spinning your wheels, not building any muscle tissue. And believe it or not, I know exactly how you feel right now, because around 13 years ago when I first got into the gym, I initially made some good progress, but it quickly slowed down. And I didn't know it back then, but it's because I was making very simple mistakes that were ultimately holding back my physique's progress. And throughout my 12 years of training, I've, built a bit of muscle. I think I've got a half respectable physique now. I've also competed in a few bodybuilding shows. I've won a few bodybuilding shows as well, which is pretty cool. So I'm doing all right. Building muscle is very simple. We need to eat more food, and we need to progressively get stronger, and we need to stay consistent with that. And whilst that seems very basic on the surface level, there's a lot of mistakes that people make. And over the last 5 years, I've worked with hundreds of guys around the world to help them build muscle tissue. And I've noticed from working with all these people that there's common things, common mistakes that people make that realistically are quite easy to avoid, but it really holds a lot of people back with them building muscle. So all of those years ago, my sleep was terrible. It was absolutely awful. I really didn't understand the importance of sleep when it came to build muscle. As well as that, I was constantly changing up training programs. I wasn't even tracking my training at all. In terms of food, I thought if I just eat more protein, then surely I'm gonna build muscle. I just thought protein equals muscle. It's as simple as that, surely. Many stupid mistakes that ultimately just held back my progress. And that is exactly what we're gonna be covering in this video today. From all of the mistakes that I've made in the past that have stopped me from building as much muscle as I could, but also the guys that have helped to overcome the mistakes that they've been making as well. I've whittled it down into a list of 6 of the most common mistakes that are destroying your muscle building potential. So sit back, relax, grab your little notebook out, and let's get stuck straight into this video and help you build more muscle tissue. Mistake number 1 is a lack of nutritional accuracy. Now, it goes without saying, if you are not giving your body what it needs to grow, i.e. calories, proteins, carbs, and fats, and enough of them, then you are simply not going to grow. You're going to be putting all of the work in with the gym, and if not eating in a caloric surplus, you are not going to grow. And a lot of people, they feel like their nutrition is good. They feel like, I eat loads of food, yet they're eating 2 meals per day at 1,000 calories each. And on paper, yes, they are large meals, but you're only eating 2 of them, and that's only 2,000 calories, which for the majority of people is not enough to grow. As well as that, they're just guessing portion sizes. There's no logic behind what they're doing. They're just eating whatever in the hopes that it's gonna have an outcome in them building muscle mass. Maybe like me in the past, if I just eat protein, surely I'm going to grow. And maybe even you are good with your nutrition. You're eating in a caloric surplus from Monday to Friday, but when the weekend rolls around, you fall off track. You undereat. All structure of your nutrition goes out the window, and then before you know it, just from those 2 days over the weekend, and then maybe a Monday that's off track because structure's fallen apart, you've then knocked yourself out of that caloric surplus and you're no longer growing muscle tissue. So what I recommend that you do is pretty damn simple, right? You just need that structure in place. There cannot be any guesswork. Start tracking your food for 7 days, or set yourself up with a consistent nutritional program and keep your foods the same. Track that for a week. Aim for around a 5 to 10% caloric surplus on top of your maintenance calories, and see how your body weight responds over the course of 1 week or 2 weeks. Then, if you haven't gained enough weight, you need to add in food. If you've gained too much body fat or body weight, you need to decrease your food. But when you've got that consistency in place, you can then actually see how many calories you truly need to grow. If things are unstructured, you're simply not going to be able to establish what your body needs. So just remember, guys, you cannot build muscle without enough calories. You need to be in that surplus, but you also can't control your body weight and the progression of that scale if you don't have any structure or control of what foods you're putting in your mouth. Mistake number 2 that is keeping you skinny is changing up your training program way too often. Every 4 to 6 weeks, you're looking for the next best thing, whether it's a completely new training program that promises to catapult your muscle building potential, or maybe you're just constantly changing out your exercises because you're getting bored of them, or some fitness guy on Instagram has told you that this movement is going to explode your tricep growth over the next 4 weeks. Now, this is a big issue when it comes to building muscle, because in order to actually stimulate muscle growth, we need to challenge the muscle, right? We need to get stronger over time, put that muscle under strain so it has a reason to grow and adapt to the stimulus. But if you're constantly changing up your movements or maybe even swapping to a different training program every few weeks, you're not getting strong at these movements because you're constantly resetting your progress. You're having to relearn these exercises and you never get a chance to get skilled at them and get strong at them and build muscle tissue. So I highly recommend that you just stop looking for the next best training program. Pick one that fits well within your routine, within your weekly schedule, with exercises that you enjoy, and stay consistent with that. 12 to 16 weeks, rinse every single little thing that you can out of those movements and get strong at them. And if movements have plateaued, don't just go swapping them out straight away. Give it some time, 3 to 4 weeks. Give it your absolute best efforts in improving your form, your execution, and your intensity to overcome that plateau. And if that doesn't work, then yes, switch out your movements. So just remember, guys, growth takes time, right? You're not gonna get anything out of a training program when you've only stuck to it for 4 weeks. If you're constantly changing up your exercises, you're never gonna get stronger at any of them. Be patient, stick to a program that fits well for you and one that you enjoy. Get as strong as you can, and you're gonna build a lot more muscle. Mistake number 3 is a lack of progressive overload. Now, a simple way I like to put this for a lot of people to understand is there is a difference between exercising and training. And if you are going to the gym trying to build muscle mass, you need to train. If you're exercising, you're simply just, keeping the body fit, just going through the motions, and that's amazing. But if you're someone that watches this video and you want to build muscle mass, you need to train. And what is the goal of training? It is to get better. It is to improve over time. So if you're showing up to the gym and you're just lifting the same thing over and over again, are you going to train the body, give it the stimulus that it needs in order to be able to grow? No, you're simply not. Now, applying progressive overload consistently is pretty simple, but just a lot of people don't want to do it. Get yourself a logbook. This is the easiest way that we can apply progressive overload. And this ties in nicely to what I said previously about having a structured training program and sticking to that training program. Because if you know what movements you're going to be doing in your training session and you can see them in your logbook and you can physically see all of the previous lifts that you've done in your previous training session, well, you've got targets to shoot for. You know exactly what you need to do, your mission in this training session in order to progress, in order to get stronger. And that is a big driver for motivation. Then you just want to strive for small progressions, whether that's adding on a couple reps onto a set. Maybe it's adding on a little bit of extra weight onto the load that you're lifting. Small progressive overloading over time is going to give your body a reason to grow. It's going to give your muscle that stimulus. And it doesn't need to be huge leaps and bounds in progression. And it's not going to be, especially if you are genuinely pushing yourself. It's only going to be 1 rep here, a little bit of extra weight here. But that consistently repeated over time compounds to big changes in your strength and therefore big changes in your physique. So remember, guys, if you want to build muscle, you need to train. You cannot go through the motions and simply exercise. There is a big difference. Progressively overload your training, give your body the reason that it needs to grow. Mistake number 4 is not getting enough sleep. And I was awful for this back in the day, especially at university, going to raves, not really just acknowledging the importance of sleep, staying up late, playing RuneScape or Call of Duty, whatever it was. I just did not get enough sleep back in the day, and I can tell you right now, it held me back a lot. And getting my sleep in check was probably one of the most significant things that I've done over the last 5 years that's really helped my physique to progress. Now, poor or inconsistent sleep is going to wreck your motivation, it's going to ruin your hormones, it's going to impact your ability to recover, it's going to ruin your training performance, literally every single thing that you need to build muscle. Poor sleep is going to ruin that. Now, to give you a simple analogy, right? You're building a house. Your training is the planning permission because that gives your muscle or the builders the instruction that they need to be able to construct the house or grow muscle. You've then got the bricks and mortar, which is obviously the foods that you're eating every single day in order to have the materials needed to build or to grow. The workers is your sleep. And if you're not sleeping enough or the workers aren't turning up to work to follow the plans and put together the bricks and mortar, then how the hell are you going to construct your house or build muscle tissue? It's simply not going to happen. Now, as important as sleep clearly is, a lot of people still don't prioritize it. So what I recommend that you do is aim for around 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night and set up your bedtimes and wake up times to facilitate that within your daily routine. Go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time every single day, even on the weekends. There's also a pretty good good idea to implement like a little wind down routine. You know, just do something in the evening that helps you to relax about an hour and a half before you go to bed. You know, turn the lights down, turn off your screens, put your phone away, read a book, listen to some music, whatever it is, have a podcast on, something that helps you to chill out. Do something like that in your evening. It's really gonna help you. But a massive one as well is caffeine intake. And obviously people are caffeine crazy nowadays. Energy drinks, coffees, you name it. The amount of times I've seen people in the evening after a long day at work at 5 or 6 p.m. downing a white Monster. As beautiful as they are, it is gonna ruin your sleep. So cut off caffeine before 2 p.m. After that, if you go into the gym, 0 caffeine, get used to it, because trust me, when your sleep is better, your energy levels in the evening and your training performance is also going to be better. So you won't need the caffeine. So remember guys, your training and your nutrition is only 2/3 of the job. If you don't have the recovery in your sleep in place, you are not going to build anywhere near as much muscle tissue. Now moving on to mistake number 5, and this is probably one that you haven't considered before, but that is trying to build muscle when you live a chaotic lifestyle. This comes down to missed training sessions, as we said with sleep, going to bed at random times, missing your meals, having training sessions on random days, and overall just inconsistency in a lot of your habits. And whether you realize it or not, this is actually going to be a huge killer of your ability to progress consistently. And the proof is in the pudding, because bodybuilders are some of the most routine, consistent, and disciplined people that you will ever meet. And they do that because that's what's needed in order to build a significant amount of muscle tissue. Now, I'm not saying that you need to live your life like an IFBB pro bodybuilder, right? But you definitely want to make sure that you've got some meal consistency. Prep your meals in advance where you need to in order to make sure that you're getting in enough calories. As well as that, you want to make sure that you're training consistently on the same days each and every single week. Nothing goes to plan, but for the most part, if you're training on consistent days, you can make sure that you're recovered going into your training sessions and things are predictable. As well as that, go to bed and wake up at similar times every single day. Keep that consistent, just like I said in that point about sleep. Plan your sessions ahead of time. If you're going to be traveling away, you know that you're going to be not available to train, make sure that you plan your week ahead. What days are you going to be training and when, so that if you do have to move things around, well, then at least you can actually get your training sessions in on a consistent basis rather than just moving through your week with zero thought whatsoever. And as the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? And that's true. It took a long time. But it's gonna take even longer if the workers that are actually building Rome or your Colosseum, your physique, never even show up for work on time because their life is just way too chaotic. Establish that structure, plan ahead, and remain consistent with a structured lifestyle. And last but not least, mistake number 6 that I see a lot of people making nowadays, and to be honest with you, it's probably one of the most significant things that people struggle with when it comes to building muscle mass, is a severe lack of patience. Now, the issue here is that you're expecting drastic changes with your physique within like 8 to 12 weeks. You know, you've remained consistent with your training, you've given it your all, but you still feel like you haven't made much progress. And as a result, you start changing up your program, adjusting your calories, and like your expectations of what you're going to achieve is just all over the place. Now, building muscle, it takes time, and that, in my opinion, is what makes it so cool, because not a lot of people are willing to put in the years and the years that it takes to truly take their physique to the next level. Let's take me, for example. I've been training in the gym now for 13 years, and I would say it's only within like 8 years, 7 years of my training that I actually start to build a pretty damn respectable physique. Now, years later, I'm still building muscle mass right now. It just takes a lot longer. And if you're not patient with the process, you will fail. So rather than expecting to see drastic changes in your physique within like 8 to 12 weeks, start thinking long term, more like 8 to 12 months. And focus on the process. Track the progression of your physique by taking photos every single week. Track the measurements of different body parts. Track the progression within your strength in your training in your logbook. Aim for a steady weight gain of like 0.25 to 0.5% of your body weight each and every single week, and just rinse and repeat all of that process for months and months on end, rather than expecting big results in 8 to 12 weeks. So there's no escaping the fact that building muscle is slow, whether you're natural or whether you're enhanced. It doesn't matter, it's going to take a long time. It's repetitive, it's monotonous, but in my opinion, that's what makes it so cool, because not a lot of people, especially nowadays, are willing to put in the work for years and years on end to be able to actually see the results. But if you're patient and if you're willing to do that, then you will get to where you want to be. So So guys, that pretty much concludes it for this video. The 6 most common mistakes that I see that people make, maybe even you, that are destroying your muscle building potential. And just to give you a quick recap of all of the main points in this video, make sure that you are remaining consistent with your nutrition. If you're not giving your body the fuel, the building blocks, and the energy that it needs to be able to grow, you are not going to grow. Number 2, stop changing up your training program all the time. If you're constantly switching things up, you're simply not going to be able to get skilled and strong at movements, and you're going to be limiting the amount of stimulus that you need to build muscle. Number 3, a lack of progressive overload. Stop going through the motions, right? There's a difference between exercising and training. If you want to build muscle, you need to train, and that involves tracking your movements, getting stronger over time, and giving your body a reason to grow. Number 4, you're not getting enough sleep. It goes without saying, if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering. If you're not recovering, you're not performing to your best. You're not building as much muscle. Number 5, stop trying to build muscle with a chaotic lifestyle. If things are not structured, if things get missed, if things are inconsistent, your ability to perform to your best is going to be inconsistent too, and therefore your potential to build muscle is going to be reduced. And number 6, a lack of patience. It doesn't matter how perfect you are, there is no escaping the fact that building muscle, it takes time. Accept the fact that it takes time, embrace the fact that it takes time, because ultimately that's what makes it worth doing in the first place. So that is it for this video, people. If you enjoyed it, then obviously it'd be greatly appreciated if you do leave a little like down below. If you really enjoyed it, maybe even a subscribe, because that is greatly appreciated, and the love on the channel recently has been absolutely insane. But if even after going through all of these mistakes, you still feel a little bit lost, confused, you're struggling to build muscle mass, and you just want to get that help that you need to finally get to where you want to be, then what I'd recommend that you do is head down to the first link in my bio, submit an application for my online coaching team, and I'll be back to you with a personalized video going over exactly what it is that you're struggling with right now and what we need to do to overcome your issues and your struggles to help you achieve the physique that you want and build that muscle tissue. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed it. I will catch you guys in the next video.